Always follow the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. It is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We are live in downtown Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino, as always, and my good Lord, do we have a 3-hour banger lined up for you today. Great guests on the program. Tony Rizzo with the breaking news earlier today from ESPN Cleveland, going to join the program in 30 minutes. Nick Whalen, Knicks, Spurs, NBA Finals. Chris Bell, most wins in the month of June. We've popped that bad boy both months so far this year. We'll try to get another winner for you in 90 minutes. And lifelong Knicks fan, season ticket holder since the 80s, Paul Bovey on the show, professional sports bettor as well, coming up later on in the program. What a day this is, Paulie. And June 1st, typically, if you go back many years, this was always like, you're getting to the, slow time of the year. There's not much going on. Forget about it. The sports calendar has completely changed. And even if you wipe away this massive NFL trade, it's a huge day. But then right into our laps today. Here you go. Rams go out and get Myles Garrett in exchange for Jared Verse, a 2027 first rounder, a second rounder the following year, and a third rounder the year after that. My only question is this. You couldn't have done this last year, LA, when I had future tickets on you to win the Super Bowl coming out the wazoo? You're a couple of months late here, boys.
Yeah, they're 5-1 at the Westgate to win the Super Bowl.
How about that?
That's how low they are. 3-1 to win the NFC. Plus 105 to win the division. 1 seed, 3-1. I don't mind best record, 7-1. That's at Caesars. They have the most wins. But they don't, forget about them bleeping picks. Their motto, we don't care. And they get a 30-year-old two-time defensive player of the year. Is that enough for the Browns? Did you get enough in return? I don't know. But Rizzo had it. Rizzo talked to a source. If you're on Kalshi and Paulie Market, you had it that he saw a text a while ago that the deal was done. But this is just staggering and a blockbuster that this can happen. And I hope if I'm Cleveland, I get the verse from 2 years ago and not last year.
So it's funny because every person who has reached out to me today about this trade said it's a home run for the Cleveland Browns.
No.
And feedback that I have from people who I follow in the NFL who are good at this stuff, right? Like film stuff, data, fantasy, all of it. Said A+ basically for the Cleveland Browns. But they have to get the Jared Verse from 2 years ago without any hesitation.
Yeah.
And then they have to hit it with the picks as well. Easier said than done. I would say this, like if the Rams win the Super Bowl this year, then clearly all worth it for them. He is, as you mentioned, though, he's 30 years old.
Yep.
So, like, how many years is he actually? I mean, he was.
Well, how many years does Stafford have left?
Exactly right.
2?
But also, I'm glad you brought that up, Paul. Huh? Because if you go back to draft night, now more than a month ago, our reaction on Friday was so strongly against what the Rams did. We hated it on draft night when they took Ty Simpson. How awful is that pick now?
Right.
What were you doing in April? I'm flabbergasted by that.
Yep, I totally agree. If you're all in to win it this year or next year, why would you go quarterback in that situation when you extended Stafford? So I'm with you on that one. And you can't argue, even though this is the two best teams and they had 3 epic games, the team that did lose in the Super Bowl is also going to make a big trade, and it's supposed to be announced in the next 12 hours.
Sure.
With A.J. Brown going to the Patriots, which is a big move to help out May. And you acquire Dobbs and Brown now to help out and replace them. So you lose Diggs, so what? I mean, if you get the right A.J. Brown with his head on right, and it's not going to be a cancer, I mean, that's a great move for New England, even though they have a tough schedule.
Yeah, I'm guessing year 1 he's going to go there with the right attitude.
Yes.
And
maybe it's more of an indictment of Hurts and that they couldn't get on the same page.
Maybe.
And like Sal Pal said, when I watched the film, it's more on Hurts.
So what do you want to do about the Rams at this point?
I say best record 7-1. The other stuff is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't.
I was kind of joking with a couple of buddies today. Well, time to get the cross-sport parlays fired up. But really, do you even want to have them to at 3-1 or plus 325 to win the West and then wait that long for it to potentially win?
When the division looks really good at plus 105. But I would say division and best record overall 7-1.
Yeah, and I would also say, for a team that always goes for it, clearly, if they win it, my comparison would always be this. When the Giants gave Barry Zito a massive contract, it was north of $150 million, if I recall correctly. And the guy couldn't even, 1 year he wasn't even on the playoff roster. He was so bad. I'm like, well, this is one of the worst signings I've ever seen in my entire life. And I lived in the Bay Area at the time. And then it was one of those years, it might have been 2012, 2014, whichever one, Barry Zito came out and was ridiculous in a good way. I'm like, well, that was all, and they won the World Series again. So for that 1 year, it made that contract, which seemed laughable for so many of those years, worth it. And so if they just win it one time, clearly, forget about the future, not going to make a difference whatsoever, win one more with Matthew Stafford, McVay, and Myles Garrett, and it's going to be worth everything that you're going to give up, even if the Browns hit these picks out of the park. But also, a huge concern for me last year, watching the Rams holding that team on several tickets to win the Super Bowl, was the pass rush was non-existent down the stretch.
That's right. That's right.
And it wasn't just Verse. It was a lot of the other young guys who they surrounded him with on the defensive line, and it just kind of eroded. So,
well, look at the 2 Seattle games that they lost. They couldn't get a stop. They
Yeah,
lost
oh, yeah.
2 high-scoring games.
Yep.
And they would have gone to the Super Bowl if they could get off the field. And they couldn't get a stop time and time again against Darnold and blew the big lead on the Thursday night
That's
game.
exactly right.
But special teams had something to do with that, too. But you could argue also we're getting carried away because they are in a tough division. They do have a difficult schedule. At Caesars, 13-plus wins is plus 150 only. You go to Denver. You go to Philly. You play the Bills. You start out with the Australia game. I mean, you have the Battle of L.A. You take the Chiefs on later in the season.
wow.
So there's going to be losses, though, just because the schedule's so difficult. But, you know, we always talk about this, but the 49ers can't stay healthy. Arizona's a joke, and Seattle lost Walker, and they're going to have to replace him and see what Darnold can do in year 2.
Went 12-5 last year, could not even win the division,
Yeah.
blew it several times, and 13 wins plus 150. Now we're getting into territory where it's one of the highest win totals I can ever recall. In a 16-game schedule,
Yes.
the highest win total I can ever remember was the Patriots after the undefeated season. They were 13.5 for a win total. Then Brady goes out and gets the blown and torn ACL in week 1.
Yeah.
But this is also like, when you look at the future numbers, we're talking about like Chiefs with Mahomes prime time, man, a couple years ago when they were, 5, maybe 6-1 to win the Super Bowl. Is this team as good? Are they better than the Chiefs were during that run? I don't know about that. But you do have the reigning defending MVP as well. So if he has one more year like that in him, and also Puka Nacua is just pretty much unstoppable.
Would you rather have the Rams win total over or the Patriots win total over now that they get A.J. Brown?
I don't like betting over 12.5 if that's going to actually be
Yes.
the standard win total. So
And I'm going to have likely 4 wins right off the bat with the Dolphins and the Jets. I mean, to get the guy who almost wins the MVP,
Yep.
and only going to improve, and now you get Brown and Dobbs. That's big for the Patriots and me.
How often do we get this, by the way?
All on the same day or what?
Well, no, just like in the NFL where you could argue that Myles Garrett, look, I mean, nobody will say that he's the best player in the NFL. That's always going to be frowned upon because he's not a quarterback. But where does he rank overall? Is he a top 5 player in the league? I would say probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so he is dealt. And you have to still say in his prime because he set the all-time record last year for sacks in a season. And he was an absolute menace and a force, obviously. So that doesn't happen every single day.
Yeah.
We
But
might
that-
be,
he went before Watson. Watson stayed longer than he did.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
good call.
How they have to get out one more year of this worst contract in sports, and then they can finally figure out what they're going to do in the future. Some of this other. How about Russell Wilson saying, "I'm going to go to the booth and I'm not going to be a backup and play quarterback anymore," which I don't know how much he had left anyways. I don't know how good he's going to be in the booth, but he signs with CBS, and the other stuff with the Giants doesn't really move the needle. Beckham, I mean, he hasn't done anything for years. Gunner tore his Achilles. You brought in Smith-Schuster. You signed a bunch of wide
Right.
receivers. Okay, great.
No, the Russ Wilson thing, he can't play quarterback anymore. But I'm also thankful that I never watch the mainstream pregame shows.
Has he ever said anything interesting?
He's goofy.
Yes,
he
absolutely.
He says goofy stuff,
He's
and
that
that's pretty much
raw
it.
guy, right? Yeah,
Yeah. So-
I don't know about that one.
I
That
don't either.
seems like a weird hire.
I would agree.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of that one. So we get Garrett going today. I think we're going to see some big names moved in the NBA offseason as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was hinting at this even before the Thunder lost.
Yep.
But even if they won a title, you can't bring back like 12 guys that can play. What's the value right now on Chet Holmgren moving forward?
That was What happened? It's an out-of-body experience. It was like Ben Simmons.
It was worse.
I watched the game again. He hit a jumper 90 seconds into the game. He scored 2 points the rest of the way and took one shot.
Took 2 shots in the game.
How can that be?
I have numbers later on that will tell you it was worse than Simmons and not even close, Paulie.
Yeah.
Not even close.
I think they're going to run it back best they can, because you could argue if Wemby doesn't hit the long three in game one, they win. And also if Mitchell and Williams don't get hurt, they win the series. I don't think the Giannis thing can happen because you would have 2 guys on a supermax. So they went 7. They lost a tough series. I think the move they would make would to put together all these picks and move up in a draft. I think that's one move. But can't cap Dort. Unplayable. Can't bring back Dort. And some of these other key guys you're going to have to let go as well.
True or false? If Oklahoma City did not have Dort and Holmgren due to injuries on Saturday night, but they had a fully healthy Jalen Williams and a fully healthy A.J. Mitchell, the Thunder are playing the Knicks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Dort and Holmgren were completely unplayable.
Yeah.
And with Holmgren, it's like he's shell shock.
He was.
I mean, he can't play against Wemby.
Right. Correct.
Just he has no business being on the floor, and that is something that I brought up after game one, where I thought there was a pretty good chance that he could not play in the series, and they would have been better off without the guy. I can't believe we're at that point already.
I know.
And his contract doesn't even kick in until this year.
And a team went 22 wins, 34 wins to the finals. Unprecedented.
Yeah, we're going to expand on that coming up next. Tons of props to get into. I made a bet immediately after the game was over with on Saturday night. I'll tell you about that coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Dive into the NBA Finals coming up in a second. A little bit more here on the NFL quickly. I mean, there was a great tweet earlier today, basically the haves and the have-nots, like in these divisions. But the Rams, this is from Johnny Venerable. There are layers and levels to the NFL. One team in the NFC West is trading for Myles Garrett. Another is having a public contract dispute with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah. How high are those point spreads when they play?
Oh man.
No kidding.
That sums it up right there.
Yes.
And so VSiN subscribers, and we highly recommend and suggest that you become one if you're not already, vsin.com/subscribe. Every day you get a great email from Bill 80, and he includes a ton of links in there, best bets, all of it. Today, I had no idea that this was going to be a thing. Every single year around this time leading into the football season, we are asked, because Derek Stevens on the show tomorrow, and he will bring in the schedule grid that they create here at Circa for Survivor. And people have asked for years, can I order that? And Derek always says, nope, sorry. That's one of the special perks for those people who come out and traveled and stay at our property and get into the contest. You can buy it when you're here. Bill 80 included today in the VSiN Daily a link, and I was like, wow, Derek changed his mind on this. You can go to like circalasvegas.com and search for this, or store.circalasvegas.com. Right now you can buy 2 versions of it, the small one or the big one that he comes in with, and he'll have one tomorrow. Uh-huh. It's $15 for the small, and for the large one, it's $32.50.
That's great.
Oh, they're finally selling this bad boy.
Right. Good move. Good move. Go get it. Everyone loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Thing's fantastic.
All right, so
glad they changed up.
Have you bet anything yet with the NBA Finals?
Champagny, most threes in the series, plus 270.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm waiting, and just I don't really have a strong opinion on what's going to happen. It's just fantastic that this is the matchup. It would be historic if the Spurs win. 65-1 before the season. Not even close. The record, Golden State, was 28-1 the first year they won it with Curry. And the Knicks were 35-1 when they were down 2-1 against Atlanta. Other than Michael Jordan I think we're getting to record ratings on what this is going to be, that this is the finals matchup most people wanted to see. And when we go to New York, probably the most expensive ticket in sports history, especially if we go to a Game 6.
Oh.
So it's a tough series. I'd say over 5.5. I hope it goes long. Probably Brunson to have the most points in the series. There's a lot of creative stuff and a lot of stuff that's up there. A great job by the books with the creativity. But I was going to be strong on San Antonio because of the Knicks layoff and how they struggled against the Cavs in Game 1 when they were down 22. But how do you win 11 games in a row, play the best 11-game stretch in the history of the sport, and you come out a 5.5-point dog? That doesn't seem right.
Well, so a couple things on that. One, if the Spurs were laying 3.5 at home to the Thunder, now they're 4. It's basically down to 4.5 against the Knicks. You're telling me the Thunder are 1 point on a neutral over the Knicks? That's obviously not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
So 5.5, like where should the adjustment actually be? And I would also say that maybe getting involved in play might not be a bad idea because the Wemby minutes in the first quarter have been so extraordinary, and they've been getting out to these great leads. But there's also this. Right. Scott Seidenberg, VSiN host, tweeted this out on Saturday night. Teams off a Game 7 versus teams off a 4-game sweep since 2002. 3-14 straight up, 4-13 ATS. In the first quarter, those teams are 3-13-1. In the first half straight up, they're 2-14-1. I took the Knicks immediately on Saturday night, plus 5.5. I laid 14 cents with it.
Well, the Knicks are so good offensively, and that's why it's going to be a whole different series for San Antonio, because you could just play a one-man zone with Wembanyama out there, like Windhorst talked about, and it's incredible just how big he is, and you have so many guys on OKC that struggle to shoot and score. Not this team. I mean, these guys are on fire, and there's even Shamet. There's so many guys that McBride. The bench is strong. So it's going to be a whole different look and a whole different series, and the Knicks did well against them in the regular season. If you want to throw that out, fine. But how well they played in the adjustments that Mike Brown has made, I think it's going to be I think it's a high-scoring series. I think it's going to be tough for the Spurs to guard and get stops. But it's all about matchups also and who's guarding who. To me, you cannot put Towns on Wemby.
I don't think they're going to.
That's a mistake. Is it going to be OG? How are they going to handle that?
OG, did they put Hart a little bit on him?
Possibly, yeah. But also, I mean, Wemby had 5 fouls with 7:50 left in the game. That could have got hairy, and things could have changed right there. So it's awesome that we don't have to talk about officiating as well with the floppers.
Well, at least going into it, we don't. I hope we don't throughout either.
Yeah, we should be fine now. So, and that was also beautiful basketball from SGA. I love the degree of difficulty.
Oh, he was so good in that game.
And the contested shots and the long-distance shots, and he only fell down twice. That was a top 5 performance in his career, I felt, how he played, not getting much help.
Game 7 is how the entire series should have played out.
That's right. I agree.
And
Game
for some reason, it just
7.
didn't.
That's right.
Yeah, you're exactly right there. So also, by the way, Paul, let me point this out. One of the reasons why I also bet the 5.5 is because I just assumed that the Knicks were going to be a very heavy public side here. Right. And potentially I was going to have some decent closing line value here. Right now it's 1 point of CLV. We're going to see where the number goes. Thomas Gable was on this network, and I hope that we can get him on this week, from the Borgata in Atlantic City. He basically explained that it's getting into the Eagles' territory the first year they went to the Super Bowl with Hurts. So they lost eventually to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl that year, but they couldn't stop the Eagles' money. It was a faucet that could not get turned off. And he said that's exactly what we're seeing right now and have been seeing with the Knicks. He also said that when the Knicks play, those games are heavily written, just like an NFL game.
I'd love to talk to him. Yeah.
So I anticipate...
To get buried, I mean, to win all these games by double digits, but one, it's been free money in an ATM for Knicks fans.
Sure. So I anticipate well, how does that break down, though? Because it's the Knicks and everybody who's going to be on, rooting for them. But you also have Wemby on the other side, where, I mean, he's taken over, man, as Mr. Popularity.
Yeah, I know. This is scary. And Adam Silver's NBA, this won't happen again. They got 3 straight top 5 picks and turned it into Wemby, Castle, and Harper.
Pretty good.
22, 21, and 20 years old. That's how you go from 34 wins to the finals, and how good Harper was. And as Gelt said, Fox is actually expendable. I know Paul Bovey's coming on later, and he likes Fox most assists. I also see, I think it was Zach Cohen who had that as well, to lead the league, to lead the series in assists. That's a popular play. But this is a tough series. And I can certainly say the ship has sailed, because OKC was as high as minus 450 a couple of weeks ago, if that was the matchup. And then now you're seeing it was as low as $1.80. The Spurs were like, they got as high as $3.90. Now you're seeing it got as low as like $1.70, $1.80 series price.
Here's a comp to the Spurs team and why I'm concerned about them winning the NBA title. What you just talked about, all these young guys, most points in a single postseason by players aged 22 or younger. The 2011 Thunder scored more than 1,200 points by players 22 or younger. This year's Spurs team, second most ever. Remember, the Thunder, the narratives here line up beautifully. The Knicks have not super popular. They have not won a championship in 50 years, right? That season in 2011, the Thunder went and played LeBron James and the Miami Heat. The Thunder had home court, and they had all the hype with Durant and Westbrook and Harden, and I believe they took game one actually against Miami. And the whole storyline was, is LeBron ever going to win one? Because the year before they lost to the Mavericks, and again, Mr. Hot Potato there didn't want anything to do with the basketball. Mm-hmm. And they finally overtook that 2011 Thunder team because they were so young. I kind of see it that way in this series. Breaking news, it is official. A.J. Brown is a New England Patriot.
Would Brunson be the best Knick ever if they win this? Remember how bad they were? He changed everything just by one signing. And if they can win the title and end this drought?
Well, I know a lot of old-school Knick fans are going to have a tough time getting past Patrick Ewing. However, if they win a title here...
Yeah, I think it's more Frazier and Willis Reed.
Yeah.
I think he passes Ewing already.
Yeah.
But also with the games being more spread out, I think that helps San Antonio. This has never happened before either. You go sweep, and every opponent you're catching now is off a 7-game series. It's 3 in a row now that their opponent's been off a 7-game series. And that's big. But certainly with these games stretched out more, it kind of helps San Antonio.
Listening to Zach Cohen with a great podcast here on a daily basis at VSiN called Hardwood Handicappers. His breakdown in Champaign, just much like you, he thinks that the Knicks are going to put Brunson on him to hide him defensively.
He's not shy either.
Oh no, he'll go bombs away, man.
Is that an all-timer? Is that just incompetence? With the Sixers waived him so they could give Matt McClung a 10-day so he could enter the dunk competition and wear a Sixers uniform? That's why they lost the guy?
Wait until we run down some of this stuff coming up at 5:15 Eastern time.
I love the balance, though. 7 guys were in double figures in Game 7.
Oh. All right, huge trade today in the National Football League. I think the guy who broke it, Tony Rizzo, ESPN Cleveland, is going to join the program coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I don't think the Eagles are in play. The Rams are the team I heard is interested. I'm not going to lie. I just had somebody tell me, Chris, if you can believe this, they showed me a text that said the deal has been done for a while.
With the Rams?
I don't know. It didn't say with who. It's speculation running rampant.
What a morning. There you go. That was on ESPN Cleveland. We head out now to the Progressive guest line. Tony Rizzo joins the program now. My God. Can you expand on this? Thanks for the time, buddy. Hope you're doing well. The deal had been done for a long time before today's news?
Well, here's the deal. Thanks for having me on, guys. First of all, kudos to Myles Garrett because he went about this the right way. Nicole Lynn, his Clutch Sports, is his agent. Last year, he went on Radio Row and said, I want to be traded. And the Browns said, pound salt. This year, they worked behind the scenes. Now, the only team they had were the Rams. The Eagles traded for Gernard on draft deal. So they had the Rams, and the Rams did not want to give up. Jared Verse was the key to this deal. When the Browns didn't draft an edge rusher, guys, on draft night, everybody said, well, Miles is here at least to start the season. Lo and behold, they threw in verse, 25 years old. He's a former defensive rookie of the year, two-time Pro Bowler. He's a good player. Not Myles Garrett, but he's a good player. That was the key to this deal. So they're going to sell it this way. 2 1s, a 2 and a 3. Versus a 1, next year's 1, the 28, whatever, 2 years down the road, 2 and a 3. Those are assets the Browns now can go into the draft with. The Browns are dead set on drafting a quarterback in this quote-unquote quarterback-rich draft. I've been hearing that for the last 2 years. I think Mendoza was the only guy worth it this year. But we'll see. That's what this deal was about. Kudos to the Rams. They're going all in. And I heard you talking about draft night taking Ty Simpson.
Yeah.
Peter Schrager said, and I believe him, he said the Rams told Stafford, sit tight. We're going to get you one of the biggest presents you've ever had, and that was the defensive player of the year. And that's why they took that kid where they did on draft night in the first round.
When did you have this information?
Last night it started, and I called BS because I've heard it. But guys, they made a move to his contract a while ago that signaled this could be possible.
Yes.
And the Browns, go back and find me the sound where the Browns say we're not trading Myles Garrett this year. They said that last year. They didn't say it this year. They were very careful with their words.
Good observation. If I told the Browns right now, you can finish 3-14 this year and have the number 1 overall pick in the draft, would they sign up this second?
Probably, Mitch. Probably. They don't believe in Sanders, and Watson they're just trying to get whatever they can out of him. As far as Myles goes, guys, Myles Garrett on the Rams makes him the favorite to win the Super Bowl. Myles Garrett on the Browns got him 5-12 last year.
Yeah.
Come on.
That's true.
Until you find the quarterback, Myles Garrett's a completely different player on the Rams than he is on the Browns.
No, I remember I was watching.
And by the way, he wanted out of here. The guy wanted out of here. Come on, he didn't want to be here. And Monken tipped it off. How about this? So right before the trade was announced, they asked Monken, "Are you assured Myles Garrett is coming to mandatory mini camp next week?" And Todd Monken goes, "I'm not assured of anything." And that's the deal.
Good. Very good. So you start the Archie Manning talk, but I mean, this motley crew, this ugly list: Manziel, Whedon, Sanders, Quinn, Couch. They can never get it right. Are they going to get it right? You need a star quarterback and a guy who's going to be around for 10 years.
Guys, we don't have a lot of faith, but the last 2 years, Andrew Berry's done pretty good at the draft. After 7 years, maybe he's figured it out. They have some good young talent. That's their path to build. They want to build through the draft. The problem is, as a Browns fan, you got to hate this. I'm trading one of the best players, if not the best player in football, to a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl, and I'm building for the future. That sucks.
Well, overall, what is your opinion of the trade, like long term, and then what is the reaction that you're hearing from people inside the NFL?
Barely enough. In my mind.
Barely enough. Huh?
Hurst is a good, barely enough. 2 1s, a 2 and a 3, barely enough. They had 2 1s for Max Crosby. Hey, come on, man. Myles Garrett is 10 times better than that. For what you're giving up, I think it's barely enough. Now, you got to hit. Guys, if you don't get your quarterback, none of this is worth anything.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
This is a move for the Browns next year. There's said to be 4 or 5 kids that can play. I doubt they'll get the first pick. The Jets are going to stink and have 3 number 1 picks. By the way, let those sweepstakes begin. The Browns and Jets are tanking for a quarterback next year. That's what's going on.
Well, so Paulie brought this up in the first segment. One look that he would have would be Rams' most wins. I'll flip it and do we want to get involved with Browns' most losses? Our
analyst, Tony Grossi, said without Myles Garrett, the Browns might have won 1 game last year. I think it's going to cost you a few. Jared Verse is a good player. I don't know. You got a new DC. Schwartz is gone.
Yeah.
Guys, new offense, new defense. What are they, 6.5? Oh, God. Good luck. I don't know.
Yeah.
I go under right now.
I know.
I go under right now.
I watched you the day after the home game against the Steelers. You've never seen something like that where they were so afraid of him and they didn't want him to get the record that they ruined what they did offensively, and the Browns won the game because he was so intimidating and they were so concerned about let's not get him a sack.
Guys, I heard you, and I agree, Mitch, you bet. Rams didn't have pass rush, but I'm telling you, they got one now. That guy affects every play. He was held. I've never seen anything like it, truly. If you watched every play on defense, which I did last year and every year, if you watch every play, you could call holding on every play for Myles Garrett. He's a hell of a player, still in his prime. By the way, he'll love L.A. He wanted out of Cleveland. Don't forget. Again, this is good work by Myles and Clutch Sports. They wanted out, and they didn't say anything, and they got out. Behind the scenes, they must have really been hammering the Browns for the Browns to make this move. When Todd Monken took the job, he said, I came here because of players like Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward. And a couple weeks later, he said, no, I haven't heard from Myles Garrett. One-word answer. Mm-hmm. Somebody goes, have you heard from Myles Garrett? He goes, no.
Yeah.
And then today he goes, I'm not assured of anything. So something changed from January to today.
Okay, this is available at numerous spots. It was as low as $1.70. Are you adamant Watson starts week 1?
I would bet on that.
Okay.
He's got to stay healthy. You know, guys, the guy's been injured a lot. I mean, people just, you know, he ran a lot. He got injured. He took a bunch of hits. Has that changed? I don't know. I have to see it. But right now he's ahead of Sanders. They don't see Sanders. They haven't committed anything to Shedeur. They're treating him like a 5th-round pick.
Every player included in this, quarterbacks as well. Myles Garrett is a top what player in the league?
Oh, he's got to be top 5. I know he's not a quarterback, but guys, he affects. You're going to see a lot more of him now because he's playing for the Rams. How about Myles Garrett? He's going to the Rams, man. He's going to a major market. He's going to the Rams, a Super Bowl contender. He's got to be happy right now.
Yeah.
That guy's not going to. He plays every play, man. Every play.
Yeah, for some reason we can't have that discussion in this country about a non-quarterback being the best player in the league, but I would also present to you Ray Lewis and also go back to the 80s. I mean, Lawrence Taylor was arguably like the best player of all time. I mean, that's what the dude did, and he would disrupt everything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, if he does what the Rams think he's going to do, we'll be having that discussion.
Yeah.
Because he'll be on a team that makes a difference. He's been, you know, in Cleveland, come on. I mean, you know, even though he set the sack record, it wasn't even a big deal. He's in New York. Would you imagine?
True. That's true.
Imagine what that would have been?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
What do your listeners
They'd have given him down the parade of the champions over there. They'd have given him a float.
Yes. What'd your listeners say about the Cavs just running it back after getting swept?
Oh, man. I can't believe it. Guys, I'm in shock. What's going to change?
Nothing.
What's going to change? I mean, I don't, like, you know, the guys, their attitude, where were the guys that played Game 7 against the Pistons? They looked like, now, I know it was a different opponent, but the Knicks are, I don't know. They're good. I give them a chance. I do. But where was Mobley and Allen the way they played in Game 7? They lost that lead in Game 1, and it looks like they let go of the rope. That's unacceptable in this town. You can get beat in the 9th inning with 2 outs in a Game 7 of the World Series. You can give up a 98-yard drive with 5 minutes left to go to the Super Bowl. You can't quit. You can't do that here.
Yeah.
They did.
I'll tell you this. One of the first reports I saw after the Thunder lost, they have no interest in Giannis, but they do have a lot of interest in Evan Mobley. What are we doing here? Why would they trade for him?
They liked him coming out of the draft, Mitch. Go back and look it up. Their GM liked him a lot, and somehow they didn't get him. And I'm sure the Cavs are going to have all the discussions, but right now their message to us is we're planning on running it back. And the Harden thing, real quick, is because they made a wink deal when they acquired him that he gets another year.
Yep. All right.
Yes, they did.
God bless, buddy. Thank you for the time. We appreciate that.
Thanks, boys. Always.
All right.
Tony Rizzo,
Good job.
ESPN Cleveland, had the news before anybody else today. Myles Garrett to the Rams. Unreal. Win, lose up next. The Carolina Hurricanes became the first team since 1983 to pull this off. Incredible detail from Paulie coming up next.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night? Wow, winning. Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser! Paulie Howard Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
A great Game 7 and a blowout Friday night. Carolina becomes the first team since the Gretzky Oilers in 1983 to enter the Stanley Cup Final 12-1. The only thing that stopped them was the 11-day layoff.
They were too good.
Absolutely. Hall, first goal, 18-1. Carolina team total over 5.5, 6-1. Minus 4.5 goals, all 12-1. Exact score, 40-1. 12 of the 13 playoff games have held their opponent under their team total. So that's 2 goals or fewer every game but one. Freddie is 12-1 with a 1.41 and a 930 save percentage. He's the third goalie in 60 years to start 12-1.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to do anything and take a nap between the pipes.
Okay.
So by far and away, my biggest regret going back to Friday was not betting them on the puck line. By far and away.
No, it's easy.
Oh,
Piece
God.
of cake. Sad to see you go, Montreal. The drought continues.
Yep.
Canada hasn't won it since 93. The Canadians closed 12 straight overs in the first period, an 11-1 run goal in the first 10. Well done. Game 7, most rebounds, Williams 40-1. First basket, Wemby plus 450. We get to do this again for another series. He's only 1,000. You can't beat them on the opening tip.
No, he's going to win it every single time.
Yeah, he was $7, and now he's high as 1,000. But it's also look at San Antonio players with that first basket. Spurs in 7, 6-1. Record in the NBA playoffs, 3 road teams won a Game 7. And the Brewers, 38-1, most wins in May. What a sweat that was.
We'll expand on that a little bit later on in the show.
Subscribe, be part of the team, vsin.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos at Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in, we'll put you on. This was all over social media Friday with the guy with the obstacle course where you're like doing the cone drill, like supposed to go between them. And
does his job, knocks them all over.
Yeah, right. Forget what obstacle course, right? Just going as slow as he can. And like clapping for him, right? I'm just knocking over you, piece of cake. It's the exact opposite of what he's supposed to do. I'll take my time.
I think this is actually better.
I do. I'm right. I'm with you. Right. I live life on my terms.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Grumpy old man here doing whatever he wants.
Yep. Lose some? You want to put up blue? Just the videos. This is unfortunate. We, like most people, we discovered him during COVID and the pandemic, where he eats like a human. He was born deaf. Tough life. You know, we showed him he would eat the burrito and hold it with his front paws. Here he is eating the sandwich and the peanut butter. But he passed away. And here's another video of our guy Blue, the French Bulldog, and we followed him. There he is. That's the first video I think we saw of him where it's like, who's this guy? Who's this little dog eating like a human? And he's got the burrito, and he's just. And you said it was because he's deaf.
Yeah.
Or how he would go about life and how he would eat and sushi, burritos, sandwiches, whatever.
It was
how he did it.
Honestly like one of my favorite, I don't know, pet or dog accounts or any account,
Right.
quite frankly, on Instagram.
Yeah.
Before, I think this dog was one of the first ones to really take off.
Yes, I think
In
you
terms
were
of
right.
overall popularity, just because of the uniqueness of what he was able to do, or
Yes.
had to do, I should say.
Yeah, how he would eat, dress him up, all of it.
I couldn't get enough of the videos.
Yep.
Wildly popular.
Sad news.
That sucks.
Condolences to the family. Royals 2-13 against lefties. World Series of Poker underway. Alan Keating, $25,000 tournament heads up tourney, called in. Hey, I'm running late, can't make it. Sorry. You punted on 20. What? How do you miss that?
I'm sure it happens all the time.
Oh my God! We got to get Deeb in here again too.
They just got
Can you believe
more
that,
cash
though?
than God laying around.
$25,000 buy-in heads up. I'm running late. Sorry.
Well, he's
guys.
like the little dog running
know.
into the cones, doesn't care.
I got a forfeit. That's a tough one. Bad beats Friday. The Giants blew it in the ninth. The Twins blew it in the ninth. Did we have 4 walk-off bombs?
Yeah,
in
all
that
of them
night?
were 2-run shots. I think that's the first time in the history of the sport.
Yeah. Great. Sharp Place. Been with us since day one. Alerts directly from the pros. Talks to over 500 sources worldwide across all sports, and he sends out all the info in real time to subscribers. The daily Mr. Poison tweets. Donate over 30,000 over the years with the Robinhood plays. Sharpplays.com. Get there now. And he had the under. Send it out too with PSG and Arsenal. Sharpplays.com.
So how about all the madness going on in the French Open and also the College World Series? UCLA eliminated by St. Mary's.
Too much.
The second straight year, the number one overall seed was eliminated. 52-8 this season. They did not lose a single series the entire year.
How does that happen?
And they're out.
Yeah, I know.
That's pure insanity. And now the men's side again, it's one right. But both of them, by the way, the men's and the women's, basically.
Yeah, Sabalenka beat Osaka, but now in the quarters, the highest remaining seed that she has to beat's a 7. You know, Goff spit the bit. What's happening with the men? You know, the men, it's not even enjoyable. Where all the top players have gone down. So whether it's the Heat or whatever, but it's just. And then Serena's coming back.
I saw that announcement today.
At 44.
I'll tell you who is loving the men's side is our producer, Luke. Again, holding that ticket on Hodor at 155-1 to win the men's. Mm-hmm. He gets Zverev tomorrow, and he's a big dog. So we can't really do any hedging right now at this point, but that would be a nice one to pull off tomorrow and keep advancing, obviously.
Yeah, it is. This is so exciting that it's Spurs and Knicks, and it's the same matchup at 99. But Sharp Money Collective sent in a tweet at Collective Sharp on X. One of the strangest things is how some people hold on to 90s and 2000 basketball NBA.
Sure.
Where it's just, I can watch the games. They're right up. It was horrific. The sport was brutal. And he pointed out the last 2 times the Knicks made the finals, 94 and 99, there was a 7-game series and a 5-game series. All 12 games, nobody scored 100 points. Game 2 of 1999 was 80-67 final score.
Yeah, good basketball, right?
You can't beat what we're watching now. And how the high level of play and the difficulty of the shots and what's going in and how the high level that they're playing at.
Paul, so
you can't shoot. You can't get on the floor.
I've said this before on the air. Like, I love Olympic basketball. And in 2004, when USA went over to Greece and play, the state of the NBA, to me, was so poor and so unwatchable. And I would, my buddies and I would get up, we'd go to wherever and watch these games at 4 o'clock in the morning. We were rooting against USA, hoping deep down that it would actually somehow have a direct impact on how the game would be played moving forward. We wanted them to lose because the sport was so bad, thinking that would be a wake-up call. And they never won gold that year. And if you fast forward, I don't know if that resulted in a change or it was just the overall talent that came into the league. But that's how bad the NBA was. And you could probably, I know Jordan in the 90s, but I'm sorry, that it was awful. And people have it in their brains that for some reason back then, great defense. No, it wasn't.
No, those games were all in the 80s too. Those Jordan Bulls teams, 80s and the 90s.
Nobody could shoot.
No.
And they played with zero pace.
Everyone did the same thing. Dump it down to the big guy too. Dribble, contested too.
We have a 7'5" guy who is going to go down as one of the best defensive players of all time, going bombs away from 30 feet. But yeah, 1999 NBA basketball was better. Sure, you bet.
Anthony Irwin, who's been on the show many times with the Lakers, covers the Lakers. He had that tweet about after Game 7. Remember when people were hyperventilating after his first summer league game?
I love talking about it.
Yeah,
I love talking about that angle.
Yep.
Sure. Spurs made a mistake. Yeah, they sure did.
Yes.
What a whiff by them.
Oh, there's so many great props with it. Will he score 50 in a game? 12-1. Will he have 20 rebounds in a game? Plus 175.
Golly.
Will he average 33 a game? 4-1. Will he have a 5x5? That's 50-1.
What do you make of his overall MVP number?
I don't think it's crazy.
To be minus $2?
Because you could get it to him in a losing effort. Because if you look at it, it's about the same price now with the series as he is MVP.
Yeah.
So he just makes such an impact, offense and defense, that I could also see if they lose in 7, maybe he could get it as well. But the thing, I'm stunned at the price because he's 22 years old. This is his 3rd year in the league.
Right.
They just went from 34 to the finals, and they'd be the biggest ticket ever to cash at 65-1 and win this damn thing.
Shout out to a longtime VSiN viewer, Ian McDonald. He put me on Castle months ago at 300-1 to win the NBA Finals MVP. So I got a small bet on that. Is there any path for some player not named Victor Wembanyama to actually win for the Spurs? Castle's going to have to go out there and just, he's going to have to average 25 and like 8 assists and just be locked down defensively.
I don't know. Do the other guys shoot enough? I guess Champagny would have to average a ton of threes.
Yeah.
And light it up, but that's you got to give it to you got to feed Wemby as much as possible.
More thoughts on the NBA Finals next. Player props, series leaders, best bets from Nick Whalen coming up on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.